Halo Infinite. We're taking a look at the open world landscape of the Zeta Halo ring. That's right, this is my look at the open world gameplay experience of Halo Infinite. So what we get here is one sort of large landmass chunk, and then you kind of go off into different areas, which is kind of intriguing. But yeah, stay tuned for my full review of the game, which should be coming in the near future if you want a more critical, exact look at what this experience has to offer. But for now, we're showcasing a very specific slice of gameplay as we explore the open world. And yes, it is annoying where basically your vehicles are flipping over all the time when you try to drive them around here. Anyways, yeah, so we're exploring this huge, large-scale Halo area. I'm not sure if there's actually been a play space in another Halo game that is this vast in scale and in terms of what they're trying to do with it. It's a very ambitious and intriguing effort, and one that does have a certain level of beauty to it at certain times. It's day, night, so you do get some really cool, you know, sort of the sun is setting over the distance and it gets a nice like orangish hue going on, and then these vibrant sunny days. So we are on Series X, 4K 60, the quality mode, there is HDR support, and yeah, like I said, it does have some really, really beautiful moments to it, and there are some other moments where a lot of the visuals and some of the shadows, like the textures and stuff, are trying to keep up with what you're doing if you're moving really fast through an area, which is kind of intriguing. So for me, it doesn't necessarily strike me as something that is specifically next gen, if that makes sense. But it's still, there's a lot of times where I was sitting there looking out into the distance, looking out there to the rings, you know, the rings, the big ring. There are like little ring spots on the map, but, you know, looking up into the sky and seeing the rest of the ring around, you know, it's very, very lovely. And it has some really charming moments to that. And then there's other moments where it's like the trees, something about the trees in the distance. It's got like, I think it's a bit of an art aesthetic they're going with, but it's just the trees, there's something off about them. I don't know how to describe it. But the rocks, you know, they look pretty good and it could look nice and rocky. I love these weird metallic pillars that pop up in the game. It's really, really quite neat. So we're coming up here and we are tackling a fob scenario. So these are like spaces that you need to capture, and there's going to be like fast travel points you unlock. So I was allowed to show exactly 15 minutes of open world gameplay. So this is that specifically, and I was allowed to show off one of like each of the activities. So I didn't really have enough time to show off each of the like even all of the activity. I didn't have time to do that. So you're gonna see like an FOB take, which is like a quick little base. You gotta clear all the enemies, and then it'll let you interact with the pillar. And no, unlike other Halo games, you can't skip through things to just, you know, quickly activate something. You actually have to clear out the area of enemies. We're also going to show a Marine safety area where we save the Marines. Because, you know, Marines they're just regular humans. They're useless. They get captured, they get taken. I guess the Banished have some kind of, like, plan where they don't just kill everyone like the Covenant do. They take prisoners, so that's different. And also, like, a base capture. That was kind of the one thing we were waiting on for them to kind of give us the okay on, was the base capturing. But just before the base capturing, we're going to take out some sort of highly skilled target. So that's kind of like an assassination mission for the Chief. He's now Agent 47, and he's the hitman. What can I say? So you have to go and kill a target. We're going to take out some sort of special elite guy or whatnot. So I also wanted to show off a balance of, hey, you know, we're doing these targets, but we're also exploring and showing off the world. So this is a lot of how I would traverse in the world. There are moments where vehicles are good, but there's a lot of times where you're kind of like, the easiest way to get around is just to kind of zip line through it, grappling hook through it. And that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're just climbing this mountain. And we're going to show you how far we traveled, because it actually makes you feel kind of like a bit of a superhuman. Because a regular person would not be able to traverse this amount of distance that fast. Absolutely not. I've done hiking, and even in putting in a real effort, I wouldn't be able to go that far that quickly. So you can see that we went from there, we went up here. And it does seem like the performance of the game is largely smooth, but there are some places in the open world, at least from the build that I had, where there are some, you know, like some dips here or there that I've kind of noticed. You might see that reflected in the open world of it. So yeah, these people have been taken. They're being held down. I assume they've been without food for a long time, so I don't know how they're still alive, but you know what? It's cool. Cool. Let's save these guys and get on to our next thing here. So we just got to eliminate all the enemies in the vicinity. Got some different, you know, grunts, a couple elites, brutes, stuff like that. Typical things. It's the Covenant, but they've they rebranded, you know. They got the red color going on. New color scheme. They got a new PR group. The whole, you know, purpley Covenant look just, it wasn't working. You know, you gotta rebrand your company every once in a while. I know these guys are like a split off faction, but it is kind of funny. And it looks like some more dropped down. I don't know where they went, but we'll take out this cool elite guy here. He's got a nice sword. Oh, nice. He's then instead of the Ravager, because the Ravager is pretty weak. Pretty weak. Yeah, okay, well, the squad's free.
You saved a lot of lives today.
The Marines are in my debt. Thank you, the weapon. I know they are. All of humanity is in my debt, actually, if you think about it. I'm surprised the Chief even spends time doing this, considering there's all this other stuff that's going on. So here's a brief look at the destroyed part of the ring, the shattered part where you can kind of see off into space. It's really cool. I mean, you've probably seen it in all the trailers and stuff, but when you're actually on the kind of ring looking out, you know, over that huge, like, chasm-like space, it's really, really neat. But this gravity even works. So here's another, like, outpost, but we're not gonna tackle it. I really like the sort of look almost of the approach to these areas, if that makes sense, because it feels almost it's got a very unique aesthetic to it. Like, it looks like a bit of a painting type thing, the bases and whatnot. You're kind of like, oh, that's really cool. And then when you get in there, it's like, oh, this is a place that you actually need to kind of capture and take. But we're actually on our way to go and do an assassination thing. And again, not tackling the base, just showing the grunts who's boss. We're not going in there for any technical reason. There's a different place that we're going to be doing. Again, didn't interact with it, did not enter it. Yeah. Oh, and there's also lots of, like, wildlife, which was kind of cool. You see lots of, like, birds and other things going around. Well, there's not, like, tons, but, you know, there's a variety. It makes it feel a little lively. Yeah, why are there ecosystems on the ring? Who knows? Forerunner mystery. But this also just shows off a bit more of the traversal of the environment outside of, like, doing vehicles and stuff. Because again, whenever you drive a vehicle in this, there's always like a rock or a pebble, and your, like, warthog flips up in the air and stuff. And it's just it's a bit of a pain. But let's get over here and take out this foe. So this is our, you know, kind of high value target mission. We're here to assassinate this enemy, or sorry, eliminate. We could do a tactical thing, but you know, I'm the crazy chief. I just, like, rush in there. It's like a boom. Actually, I can't remember if yeah, okay, I think I'm just gonna rocket out there. Yeah. Probably good use of the rockets, right? Just to kind of blast those guys from a distance. Just kind of getting the lay of the land. So there's a few of these different pockets of areas where it's like, hey, go take out this target and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. And, yeah. There we go.
But we still got threats to finish.
that was the enemy there. So that's a high value target. No one else in the, you know, in humanity could take care of that enemy there. Pretty exciting. Tiny creature. Oh, come on. These guys should be terrified. I do think they're hilarious, all of the the English that they use and deploy. There's some of their wording is just funny, especially the grunts. Oh yeah, stay away from those things because they are very unpredictable and they tend to blow you up as much as they do your enemies. It's got some more jackals to take out. And when you capture, or well, kill a target and you grab their, like, special weapon or whatever, it gets added to your arsenal, so you can kind of deploy it when you're at, like, a little base area that you have available to you. So that's kind of interesting. Another look out into the distance. See, it's just quite wondrous looking off the map there.
Target and crew eliminated. Life on this ring just got a little safer.
Maybe someday they'll give us a Halo game where you can actually explore the whole ring. Oh, that would be cool.
Pretty inventive, even for the Banished. So I copied it.
So we've eliminated that target, and I think we're gonna jump over to a little bit of a later point. So this is where you're gonna see a bit more of the kind of shadowy type pop in and texture load in, because we're gonna be going a little bit quicker to kind of get to that base over there, and this is gonna be the outpost that we're taking for this particular thing. Now this is a little bit better because we are on foot, but if you're taking, say, a vehicle, you're gonna notice it a lot more when you're going really fast in a vehicle, kind of getting to a point. And that's what I'm trying to show off here. As you can see, little loading bits here or there. But I mean, most open world games do have that sort of, I would say, issue to them.
There's that outpost we detected.
Let's take out that grunt. And you know what? Let's jack this ride. See, the grappling, it's the biggest surprise for me. When I first heard it was being announced, the grappling hook, I was like, oh, kind of lame. Get into the game and I'm like, whoa, this is like the most fun thing here. Awesome, just awesome. But yeah, now we're going to be eliminating the outpost. Again, we didn't have really enough time to show off like the full capturing of the outpost, so you're just going to basically see me unleash here on a bunch of different guys. So the outposts have different goals to them. A lot of the time it's like, hey, destroy this or destroy that or clear these enemies out. It's kind of the gist of it. And I did try to show off a variety of different weapons and whatnot. And like I said, I'll have a full review of this soon with more thoughts and whatnot. There is also some more specific campaign level gameplay available on the channel if you do want to see that in action. That is present and available. So we gotta blow up these cores. There's like 3 of them here. And I'm all out of ammo, haha! Or the chief can get creative and you get a good look at that armor. Looks just fantastic. Definitely captures the old chief aesthetic. You know, from the art book of this game, which I've already reviewed and whatnot and checked out in a written context, you know, apparently there was a goal for them to basically do a hybrid switch between, you know, the Halo 5 armor aesthetic, Halo 4 5 armor aesthetic, and the classic traditional one, which is what they ended up with in this game. But there was like a hesitation where they're kind of like, should we do a smooth transition in this game and the next one maybe do like a full transition? And they kind of went with the full quick transition to the armor because they thought it made more sense within the scope of this world. I think that opens up like a door thing for us to go. Oh, that opens up the front gates. That's funny. So I was trying to get this thing opened. See, the grappling hook, you could just skip through so many scenarios. It is fantastic. And this is where another one of the destructive things are. I think at this point we've already destroyed one of the explosive things that we were supposed to destroy, or we're destroying it after, I don't remember. Anyways, it's a great time to like the video. Subscribing is great as well, and so much more Halo Infinite action to follow in the future, because, well, it's Halo. There we go, the Armory of Reckoning has been taken.
Okay, that's a lot of guns. I think
And it's an armory, so we get a lot of fun weapons to play around with. Although it's the same selection of weapons you find everywhere else in the game, they're just all lined up on the shelves. Oh, the battle rifle, my pride and joy. But let's drop a little bit of the hammer and then call it a day on this one. Quite a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed this dive into the world, or well, the open world of Halo Infinite.